Good.
You're all good to go.
Okay, so we're calling meetings order at 7:04 PM. Public Safety Committee monthly meeting. Thank you, those that are here and those that are watching virtually. I'm sure we have a very big crowd and backing up the internet connection online. Okay, nonetheless, here to call roll. Carlos Andres here. Nancy Rogers is on her way. Johnny Torres and Darwin, not here. Giancarlo.
Here.
Luis Lopez. And Mr. Jorge Peña.
Here.
Okay, so for Mr. Secretary, for now, let's just wait, because I know that a few members are on their way, so I don't want to mark them absent, right now. Okay, order of business. Any deferrals, additions, deletions?
Do we need to discuss further the reimbursement for you?
It's part of the agenda.
Okay. I was gonna add it. I didn't get a chance to read it.
It's part of the agenda.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
All right, let the record show that Darwin is here.
Darwin is here, sir. Yes. Okay, so actually, before I continue on item number 3, something that I need to look into, and I'll ask town management, are we currently now under the new rules? Committee rules, is that now effective?
I don't believe there was a final decision yet on council. The minutes are still being made.
Okay.
So once I have more information on the rules, I'll let you all know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for now, the way this is presented on here, I just put it absent for you, for Darwin and Mr. Peña. I don't know if, when those come in, I don't know if that's excused or not, I have to look at the rules, but for now, I'm just keeping a dialogue. I don't know, I got to look at them again, right? Just letting you guys know that, that will be catered or tailored, better said, to the new rules once they become final, and I review them.
Either way, you all should keep track of the attendance just for your report to council.
Absolutely.
They like that attendance tracker. as
Yeah.
part of the report.
So now, Mr. Secretary, you'll see that I put A, and that's something that we should definitely maintain going forward.
So would you like, okay, so that's gonna continue as is like that? Is that how you want it on the minutes?
I would recommend it, because what's gonna happen now is, so that you all know, when we do a report to council and it goes to the town clerk, she will decline a report if it doesn't have the actual absences on there, the attendance. So just keep that in mind.
Hey, how you
Okay,
doing?
yes, Councilman. So then, as far as any deferrals, additions or deletions? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna move on to the next item, which is adoption of the March 25th meetings. Thank you, Mr. Johnny Torres, for stepping in for Mr. Peña.
Next time you're gonna go on vacation, you gotta run it by me first.
Your PTO slip
I'll double check.
has to be submitted to.
I'll double check for that.
Okay, if you all need, I'm going to make a motion to adopt the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Darwin seconds that. Do you all need a minute to review them, or do we move forward with a vote?
I think you can move forward.
Okay, all in favor of adopting the minutes of March 25th, 2025, say aye. Aye. Any against? None. We're moving forward. Public comments?
None online and none in person.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, special presentations, Miami-Dade Fire is not here. I will say though, there is a lot more dialogue with Miami-Dade Fire. I think Garm was part of a email chain that's going on today, so we are establishing more of a relationship with them, and, in the near future, I'm sure we're gonna have much more involvement with them, so as part of the minutes that we'll discuss. Yes, sir.
Do we list the sheriff's office and fire department representatives on our roll call? Should we do that or no?
They're not official members.
Okay,
I will tell you that Deputy Amador did text that he's in traffic. So he is on the way. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll do the same thing as last time. We'll just, once he comes in and he settles in, we'll call him and then he can say his report for the month. Okay, now we're moving on to old business. The first item, which is the reimbursement. Okay, so let's make sure that I state what occurred with this matter. This was discussed during our December meeting. However, the reason why I will not be reimbursed is because we did not take a vote on the amount that I was gonna get reimbursed for. So that is okay. From this point forward, whenever we have a specific event, like we're gonna vote on today, we have to say specifically what that amount is. We take a motion on that amount. And then when that event occurs, that expense occurs, then I will submit it to the town for reimbursement. So, yes, sir.
Can we retro the action that we missed? And do it now?
From what I've understood, and Isabella and I have gone back and forth with this quite a few times, and yes, sir. Which committee? This is public.
Public
safety.
safety.
Yeah, you're upstairs.
No, I don't know, I just came to figure out.
Oh, you're not in the ad hoc, you're not attending that one? Oh.
You're home then.
I'm 24.
Oh, okay.
You wanna give us a raise if you want? No, wanna give us more money?
Ask us in Your budget's coming up in July.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want more money,
Thank you for your support.
Okay.
Okay.
Retro, if we could go retro on that in action.
But let me ask you something,
Yeah, let's talk about it.
because we did talk about.
Yeah, and it's on record.
And we did talk about moving amount of money to it, but because we didn't say it was $90 and we only moved 310, I think it was. We're gonna give you $90 because we didn't say it's gonna be two persons, 45, 45, 90.
Yes,
So that, because of that reason. And
essentially, yes.
so that's why we need to do the vote today on how many people going to this
Right.
other event.
Yes,
So let's say, for example, not all of them goes, they say 7, but then at the end of the day, 5 goes. Was the same thing. So it's not the same amount. So
Right.
why can, because this one can be the same amount, but the one before cannot. I don't understand that part,
Well,
because we did say that we were gonna move 300, I think it was $310 that we moved, that we agreed to move. Just for that particular reason.
Well, I'll let Isabella talk.
you spoke to Claire so about?
Yeah, I
that?
spoke to
Yes,
Claire.
okay.
So what happened was literally it's just, it's a chain of events that happened that pretty much that's what the result is, what it is. We had a motion in December that we were going to do this for Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Then we have the Miami Lakes Chamber event that occurs in mid-January. Then at the end of January, we have a report to council that's due, that's talking about the allocation of what we're gonna put on that budget category for the luncheons. But we never took an action before the event occurred of what the expense was going to be and if I should be reimbursed.
If you look in December minutes, I looked myself and it doesn't have any expense associated with human trafficking awareness initiatives that you all did.
That's
So that's where-
But we
That's what we
articulated,
messed up.
we
We
articulated it.
identified for that event.
That's
Right.
correct.
That's the
So
problem.
that's-
Yeah, the problem is not that we didn't move the money, it's that we identified for that particular.
That's
event.
correct.
But we articulate, isn't it in the recording that we specifically articulated?
We did articulate it, but we don't take a motion on the actual amount.
Okay.
And that's where, look. you
And we
know,
can't do
going
that,
forward-
if it's there verbally, can we just clarify the motion now and reimburse it? I mean, it is on record.
Because it's after the fact, no.
It's past the event.
Yeah.
Next, that's
So
the
it's
event.
moving forward, you have to be very specific, what the amount is, what line item the amount's coming from, just for the record.
Yeah.
Or whatever amount's coming out of the committee
It's-
budget.
So it's
Yeah.
no big deal, go unpunished, so.
Yeah,
You live
exactly.
and you learn.
Absolutely. So now we know, and I'm learning as well with this process, it won't happen again.
No.
So that's that. Okay, moving on to the next item, the 305 Ford Police Magnets. So that you know, both Darwin and Mr. Pena, we took a vote last time to approve a purchase of 1,000 magnets. So I know that town management was waiting for the minutes.
Yes, so we did the transfer of we had to transfer $300 from last time, y'all motioned for that, so finance just let me know that that happened, so I was in the process of doing the invoice right now to cut the check for.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So it's approved.
It's a
Right,
process.
so-
Yeah. So that's.
The transfers went through and everything's good on that.
Right. The next item is for Mr. Torres. This is your item, sir. 7C.
You can stop them when you and I aren't here.
About.
So,
Yeah.
has there been any update on this?
Idali said that she did change the settings, she spoke to Claire self, so I don't know
Okay,
if you were able
I
to.
did notice that now I can post
Okay.
all the good stuff. So it should be closed.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that.
It's a discussion.
It did, but I did make sure that a few of those posts, I was able to right away put it on my folder.
So thank you.
No
because
problem.
you made a difference for all of us.
That's no problem.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
good,
good.
it's good to have it.
So for the, we're gonna have to get Mr. Pena and Mr. Lewis to get on Instagram. This guy's a pro over here. This guy does live sessions and everything. But we, you know, you can now, if the town does something, you can now send it to your network, which is really neat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's there's a Torres's initiative got accomplished, so good for you, sir. Okay, the next item, Nancy's not here. I would have loved for her to be here, but we can always rehash it. The event was wonderful. The Elderly Affairs Committee was very responsive. Okay, so what we did is, and you know what, let me talk about it for a brief moment so that we know, again, things that I'm learning. Okay, that, you know, we all need to, I guess, take notes on. Citizens Crime Watch, their location is way down south. I want to say by like Cutler Bay or something, right? So when he agreed to do the texting and the phone call scamming presentation, he was like, hey, this is normally an hour. I approached the Elderly Affairs Committee on behalf of PSC, and they said, look, you can only do 15 minutes. Okay, because we have to have 4 rounds of bingo. If not, you're gonna have some angry elderly people, and we don't want that.
That's a big one thing.
Okay, so then what ended up happening is, Joe came up, he was like, look, normally I would never do this. Okay, I'm not gonna drive an hour for a 15-minute presentation, but I didn't wanna, you know, leave you hanging, so I came. Let me tell you, they loved his presentation. And they were all over it. They were, you know, they were totally in tune to it. He brought a bunch of stuff. Again, things that I didn't know. He brings all his like these wallets that have the magnetic, so you can't scan the credit card,
Oh, yeah.
which was really neat. Pens, a bunch of little stuff. They loved it. I mean, yeah. So then he said, look, let's come back. The other officials at committee is like, hey, yeah, let's do something later on where he can do the full presentation. You know, we did obviously all the propaganda for social media, took pictures of him, so he put it on this platform. It was great. That's an awesome resource. Thank you, Deputy Amador, that's not here, but he brought him. And that guy is clutch for us. Anything that we can think of that you hear on the street from residents and you want to push that initiative, let's talk about it. Let's see how we can partner with another committee. I think we do that a little too much, that we don't use our other committees to kind of partner on things. Definitely gonna be doing something in the future. Now, what's happening is, so that you know, I don't know if I want to skip myself here. It might be, is Brad on the calendar here, on the agenda? Yes, it is. I don't want to jump ahead to item 8B. So let me just wait. We'll talk about 8B later on. But nonetheless, the other thing that you all should consider as well, that paper that was put on the table here, it's for the next copy of a cop. We gotta make sure that there's a elderly affairs event coming up for movie night or movie date or something. We gotta make sure that the elderly affair folks, you know, get that handout, that flyer. So just starting to think of things in the future of these different things we're doing and how we get to our audience.
Yeah, because Nancy's a member, so she could just.
Right. In fact, you know what? When she leaves today, we have to give her that title, so she can take it with her. All right. Okay. So yes, it was great. In the future, again, we'll have to figure something out in the future, how we can, you know, piggyback with the other affairs. Okay. Now, on to the next conversation. So. You got it? Okay. So.
Let the record,
Before I move on,
let the record show that Nancy is here.
Nancy's here. Okay, Nancy, you know what? You've been recognized. How was the event with Citizens Crime Watch at the Elderly Affairs Bingo event?
It was good. It was super good.
I think people were very responsive. They liked it.
Well, they were, a lot of them were a bit unaware. So they learned a lot of things, you know, they realized you can look them up.
Yeah. So, and what we were saying is that I know that movie event is coming up. Here's your homework.
Those are all yours. You were nominated.
Wait a minute, a movie event?
Yeah, so you
If
have,
it's on a bus, I don't go, but I will still go to hand these out.
okay, thank you.
I just don't do buses.
Okay, in 2 weeks, I think it's the first or second week of May, I want to say, is the next event for Elderly Affairs. So
Heck, I didn't even have tonight's meeting in the
No, you're fine.
phone.
You're fine. Okay. While she checks that, I want to recognize Detective Nieves. Bless us with her presence. Anything you want to say? I skipped you in public comment. Yeah. Oh, there he is. You done with it?
I'm good, thank you. Are you saying it's what day?
The movie event, I want to say is Isabella's gonna check. How about that? But I want to say it's like the first or second week of May.
Was a bingo on May 8th. I don't know if nothing gave the bingo.
Isn't there a
May
movie event?
8th? A bingo on May 8th?
Yeah, so the bingo's May 8th, but they don't have a movie day or something?
I'm not. I would know.
I would know.
Yeah, she's. the
Okay,
liaison,
fine. So
but I'm
we'll just make sure that we got everything lined up for
Yeah.
Nancy before she goes. So she can hand it out. Deputy Amador, you've been recognized. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, do you want to report the numbers or we want to push it to the next meeting?
I have the numbers.
Oh, you do? Sweet.
Traffic was the problem.
Not the numbers.
Okay, so homicides, year to date, we're still at 0. Thank God. Robberies, we had 3 last year. We're at 2 this year, so we're down by 1. Auto thefts, we were at 29, we're at 14. So that's good, huge difference. It's basically half that. Very nice. Commercial burglaries, we had 2, we're at 0. And residential, we had 3, we're at 1. Everything's down. So, and the major was saying, at the last, council meeting that we're the lowest we've ever been. At this point with, crimes in the town.
That's great news. But the whole thing is, like you said, when you have low numbers like this. It could lead to that. It could lead to that. That's the scary thing.
And with, the, PSA, the 305 for police PSA, they're gonna go up because
Please,
the attempted
whatever.
burglaries to the
Throw it
vehicles,
out the window.
even the attempt is counted as a burglary.
Oh, okay.
And now people are calling more because they're saying, yeah, somebody tried to open the door. That's an attempt, that's already counting as a burglary.
Now, something that you said now, let's talk about really quick. 3054 police. There's people that are very happy with it and they never heard of it and they're super supportive. There's other people that are upset because they call and they stay on hold. Okay? If someone calls at a busy time, like the major and we spoke, and also Amador as well, you're gonna hit the back of the line. If you are number 2 in line and you got 5 911 calls, they jump into the hold pattern, guess what? Now you're number 6. So if someone has a real emergency, they need to just hang up and call 911.
Do they understand that's a non-emergency number?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. They're 2 separate things.
Yeah.
So what the heck are you calling the wrong number for? That's what your first thing is, you gotta tell them, you're calling the wrong number.
Yeah.
Then maybe that'll stick in their head.
But I think in the magnitude order, it says something to the effect of non-emergency, right? There's something.
That's correct,
Yeah.
but still, I mean, people, you know how it is, people want immediate answers. And when I tell people, it's interesting, because something happened to me recently, which I shared with the group, I know some of you guys saw it, where I had a kid that ran to my front door and knocked, I thought somebody was in my front door with a bat and ran. I caught the kid. And thanks to my wife, because I'm half blind, and the kid was a 12-year-old kid, and did it with his cousin. And I called the non-emergency number, guess what happened? I was on hold for 4 minutes. So I said, should I call a unit? I mean, it was a busy night. I think it was Friday at 7 o'clock or something like that. So I said, should I call 911? Is it really a 911 call? I didn't. I ended up going and speaking to his parents and told his parents what happened. Hopefully the kid won't do it again. But what's really important about the situation is that I spread it with our neighbors. Hey, this is happening. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. Make sure you keep your doors locked. If someone has, I don't know, sensitive, anxiety. I mean,
Or an
situations get turned pretty
or
bad.
an
pretty
elderly
quick.
person,
Exactly.
you get scared.
And the kid was wearing a mask. worst of all.
besides.
Okay, so he's wearing a mask over his face, not good.
Did he say why?
Why? Because they thought it was fun. They thought it was fun to knock
Just
on the
was
door.
like, that's right.
Were the parents receptive? Because
They were.
most
they-
parents, not my kid.
Yeah, the parent was pretty receptive, not that I would be like, or anybody on this committee. But, I said, you understand, we live in Florida, okay? We don't have to have a weapons concealed license. Anybody's carrying a gun nowadays. Your kid's gonna get shot 12 years old if you continue to do this. And, hopefully she was receptive towards that, but.
one thing escalates to something else.
Mhm.
In this
That's-
case,
That's scary on so many
If-
levels.
you call if it happened and you wanna call and report it, 305 for police. You caught him, 911.
Oh, really?
I mean, and it was a juvenile, so it's, but you caught him, 911, because now you have, like possible subject in custody and you're holding on to them.
Not only that, they
And that
come
would have
after
been
him.
dispatched as an emergency.
Okay. So that's the biggest thing that we have as a committee is our voice. So right there, this example happened to me, now we just spread it to our neighbors. If something ever happens like this, now you know what you gotta do. Now granted, I didn't put my hands on him.
No.
When I said that I just grabbed, I caught him, I was like, hey, but nonetheless, it was a lesson.
But that can escalate because the parents drive by, they see you addressing their kids or something, now they get involved and it could,
Yeah,
if they're not receptive. Why are you stopping my kid,
absolutely.
They believe that you're doing something.
yeah,
Yeah, I did have it on video and I shared it with the group, so you all can see it. Yes.
Because this involves kids, it really affects me. And I feel like this is something needs to be discussed more than at this meeting. And I feel like maybe we should contact what's her face from the Miami Laker and just say, this is what's happening. Just as a warning to parents and this object being thrown at them, whatever it is, don't open your door. You don't know if it's a kid or not. This is some kind of advice of what's happening, because people want to hear what this committee is doing. They're already complaining that, we're not doing enough type of thing.
do you think it's worth a PSA?
Sure, there's another event for you to film and show what what happened to you, and you be the homeowner.
Cause I think there's a lot of kids, what do they call it? Knocking and dashing or something,
Yes.
whatever, and I think there's,
I think
It's
this is
going
the
on.
first I'm hearing that this is happening here in Miami
oh no,
Lakes,
I think
and
I think
No,
it's
no,
going
no.
on.
it's gonna spread
That's been happening for the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
in Miami Lakes.
yeah,
Really?
By my neighborhood. it happens
Never heard of it.
here and there when the kids are like in spring break or in the summer, on Christmas. Not every day thing, but we do get cases like where I live. Like 2.5 years ago, at around 11 o'clock, I'm like, oh, boy, they
Would
opened
you-
the door real hard. And when I went and checked the ring, there was 2 kids doing the same thing. They knocked and they just ran out.
and it's been kind of filmed in the apartment buildings too, like
Yeah.
by Main Street and stuff,
But
so.
like you guys said, the problem here is, I saw it, so whatever. But it was, let's say, for example, somebody with a gun at that time or any time, actually confront those kids and something get escalated. And,
Oh, yeah.
Or your guy with a mask, I mean,
Like,
the home
yeah.
invasion,
Yeah,
you know, it's like.
yeah, it's pretty scary, so. But yeah, I think to Nancy's point, I mean, there's something in the agenda that we're discussing, which is item 8A, which is lock it, lose it campaign. Maybe we can tie it into that.
I
So
would
let's-
like to,
So we can discuss it on 8A.
I'd like to make a motion that we discuss it and put it on the agenda somewhere tonight. And the first thing I would like to make a comment on is, what did it cost us to do the video that you guys did?
500.
So if we have 500 in the agenda, I would like that added to, not agenda, but you know what I mean? If we have $500, I would like to make a suggestion when we get to that added to the agenda, that we do a video of this incident, this type of incident that's going on, so people can see what we're talking about. they're just gonna think somebody's knocking on the door and running, or ringing the bell and running, or whatever. They need to see the seriousness
How it can
and bring
escalate.
it to the seriousness, bring it to the next level where the kid is maybe being beaten up by the homeowner or whatever. However, we'll talk about that if we can add it. to The
That,
agenda.
this, right now, we're gonna reopen the addition deferrals line item. So I'm gonna make a motion and Nancy can second it. Do you second that motion to open up the additions? Because I think you have to open up the additions and then add it.
So
Okay,
that's item 3.
right, so I'm gonna reopen that.
So Carlos and Nancy.
Carlos, okay, so I'm making a motion, she's in a second. We're reopening additions to the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against, say no. Okay, so we're reopening it. Now Nancy's making a motion to add to 8F. I guess knocking and ditching. I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay, so 8F, knocking and ditching. Okay, all right, I'll go ahead and second Nancy's motion. All in favor? Any against? So that motion was made and added at 8F. Okay. Our next item, which is, this is a pretty important one. Thank you. So the car show. All right. So before I get into the car show, yes, sir.
Where are
I know you have a bunch of info. I got a bunch of info too. Well, not a bunch of info, but I got some info.
Okay,
I spoke to Oscar.
okay,
Funny enough, they had just had a partial in Doral. The same day of the Easter
okay,
on
okay.
Saturday
Yeah, yeah,
at night in at the mall, at the Vivo area,
okay.
and he was in charge of that.
So that's
So
wonderful.
he's very well versed on what needs to be done, you know, and all information. So I told him that I would be giving you his information so you guys can talk. He would love to come to the next meeting.
Okay, awesome. Good man. I would like to recognize, if, oh, so you're good with that? That's what you want to say?
Yeah.
I would love to have Darwin talk about the event that we just went to last week.
Riverfest,
Yes,
what part, the car show?
the whole event.
So basically, the Riverfest, I mean, that's been, I think it's going well over 50 years. And what they do is the Riverfest, meaning the River Cities, meaning it consists of Miami Springs, Virginia Gardens, Medley, and Hialeah, actually. So once a year, they have this event. And in addition to that, they have whoever went to Miami Springs senior. It's like every year, regardless of the year that you graduated, they have that, you know, that like a high school reunion. Unfortunately, this year, it was cut one day short. It's typically Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was just Friday and Saturday. And it's always, I mean, it's always a hit. I mean, they had the car show. Obviously, that was nice. That drew a pretty decent crowd. Safe, great family event. So food and obviously beer and
So it was really good that I ran to Darwin because that event, it totally threw me on a side lane related to our event. Because it made me realize like what they're doing, obviously, they've been around for a long time.
Correct,
They know
yeah.
what they're doing.
yeah.
But you know, a few things came to mind. And the one thing was time. It was a hit that was actually at night. There was people really enjoying themselves. The other thing was location. You know, which that location is prime. The way they have it is this Miami Springs Circle. That place is, you know, monumental around that place. And you know, so I went ahead and I said to myself, well, you know, let me bring it back to the committee and talk to you all about it. And right now, what we've done is Mr. Pena and I met with AGM, Energy Menendez University. They've agreed to do it there. But going to that event, I was like, hold on a second. You know, I think, me personally, this is my opinion, we're missing the boat. Because Energy Menendez University is kind of like away. And it tucked away in a side of town. And I said, okay, Main Street is our main location. Now, we don't want to duplicate what Cars for Cure does. Because what Cars for Cure does, it's funny, not because I want to copy them, just because it's actually, to me, it's very tight. Very tight. And almost it keeps people in constraint. They cannot leave until the whole show ends. So like, for example, I'm there for 8 hours when I go. So I started looking around Main Street and funny enough, my brother-in-law, which actually has worked for the grants for really many years, he's like, hey, have you ever looked at this location? It's actually really nice and lit up at night. And I said, oh, really? I haven't, never really looked at it. And this location is actually, it's kind of hard to see from here, from where you guys are sitting, but this is a parking lot. Those of you that volunteer for the Veterans Parade, which I know Louis volunteers, Nancy volunteers, is a really nice lit up and open parking lot that my thought process was, well, hold on a second, if we do the show there, the committee obviously, you don't just have a car show, you got Main Street, right? So you have people that are gonna go and visit our local businesses. You know, you have a lot of, different restaurants there. I don't know if it takes away the requirement of having a bathroom. Because now, like, for example, for the Cars for Cure, they don't have a bathroom. They use Julius Hotel or whoever else for the bathrooms. So, I just wanted to talk to you all about this location. If there is any other location, if you guys want to talk about it, I've beat this up. I've gone like back and forth in my truck, trying to like really figure out, I look for that vibe, that vibe that as a town, they say, wow,
What's
these guys
this
did it at the right location. This is the location where you have the registration for the Veterans Parade. It's that,
Behind the Novillo.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think there's like offices and all
yeah, you
that.
see that
Yeah.
building right there?
Yeah.
It's like in front of that park, right? by
Yeah.
Bridges.
Yes,
Exactly.
across from you.
I see it now.
And Meadow Walk, something like that.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good location.
So,
Actually, right better.
so that, obviously, like, and again, I'm learning to Isabel, when I was schooling me with stuff, like, obviously, if you guys are like this idea, or you want to talk about any other idea, I need to get approval from you all to then take the next steps, to then talk to the Grams. Okay, because funny enough, I had no idea that Angie mentions the Grams anyways. So it's like, we met, and it was a nice meeting.
I know, the lady was great.
And it was great, and I love their support for the town, but if this is what you guys want to do, then, but before I even talk about anything else with the car show, I want to really talk about this location and get everyone's feedback.
As far as the bathrooms, people are gonna want the Main Street. Let them use the bathrooms at the restaurant and the hotel, so we
The
don't have to
hotel
worry.
too, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about getting porta potties or nothing like that.
I totally agree with that.
And then one thing I would look into, which I don't know how Cars for Cures does it, is the liquor part.
Yeah.
Cause I was at the beer tent serving beer
Yeah.
for all those hours and I don't know, I guess since they were sample, maybe you don't need a liquor license because it was smaller cups.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
it's funny because when I was at River City's event, what they had, and I was like, man, this is great. I think actually you were talking about this, Amador. They had a humidifier, portable humidifier toboggan. Awesome place. They had like table setups. and-
Oh, yeah, that'll drop.
Amazing. So I was thinking that my neighbor is actually the one that has the trailer with the beers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
So
dispenser.
he would know.
Yeah,
I think it might have something to do with the size of the cups.
yeah, he's,
There gotta be at least one.
No, yeah. But I mean, as far as like having a liquor license
Right,
for us to
but,
dispense or.
well,
they
the
can
way-
say-
The thing is, regardless, because you're selling it,
you have.
Well,
like,
they
you
bought it
need to
before.
have-
You buy a pack. you
No, I
buy-
get that, but because there's liquor involved, you need to have a license, regardless of.
So I
Yeah,
don't know
but
how
wait a
Pures
Wait a minute.
Cars does it.
What was the group that had this liquor?
Yeah, you can get the same
situation.
company.
No,
You
what
can
I'm
get the same
saying
company.
is-
No, the thing is, there were different beer
Okay,
companies
but what I'm
and they
saying
got
is,
samples.
we are a town committee.
Oh,
When we
yeah.
wanna do it, now it's a town event, and the town might say, no,
Yeah,
we're
no,
not
'cause-
serving
if
liquor. we
somebody
don't
gets
want it."
drunk and they
Liability.
crash. they're-
Oh,
they're-
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
So-
forget liquor.
You Always
Let me
have
tell you
to
the good
think
thing
like
about-
you, like you work upstairs.
It's
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And the good thing about the liquor is that, for instance, the Fourth of July event, they serve liquor.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
They
And
serve
that's a,
liquor
that's
at
a,
the
and that's a
park.
town event.
And that's a town event, and
They
they're
do.
looking at doing that to more events, because it just so happens that they do it at that event, but they're looking at doing it at more
Oh,
events.
Whoa, I didn't know.
I didn't
that.
know
Yes, they
Good.
serve liquor from a food truck or,
Mhm.
Yeah,
one of those.
The whole idea about
Beer.
what that event brought my attention to is that people were there as a date night with their family.
Mhm.
And it brought the crowd more. right? Because it's like, okay, now this is Saturday night and we're here to celebrate the police and the fire, so it's all encompassing, kind of like a, it's funny because I love the idea they call it a festival, but I was like, gonna steal it, but I don't think I can.
So you can do an early evening time instead of during the day when it's hot,
That's,
late afternoon, early evening?
but again, this is where, and I'm gonna give you full, disclosure. At first, what I was thinking is, well, hold on a second, you have the vendors, the market that comes out every
Farmers
Saturday.
market.
So I was like, oh, maybe that street, how that street is, very dark. And that street, for whatever reason, is like, it's not clean. There's like leaves and kind of everything everywhere. There. I said, well, hold on a second, what about we do that street to have all the vendors, like Oscar and any other folks that want to come with their, what is it called, food trucks, right? And then that parking lot right there would be where the cars go. But again, it's kind of dark. It's not very uplifting. So I think before we talk anything about vendors, let's just make sure that we have a consensus about the location. I'm opening it up for conversation here. And then,
I
yes,
was trying to think about the time. The Fall of Hispanic Heritage Month event is on the same day, October 4th, so you don't want to overlap with them because council members are gonna be there, mayor's gonna be there most likely, they can't be in two places at once, and we don't really like community events
Well,
overlapping.
what's going on that day too?
The Hispanic Heritage Month.
which is at noon.
Which is
What is-
from 6 to 9, so if you're thinking later in the day.
Oh,
Six to nine.
Six feet and 19.
9.
What is the
Yeah.
event?
Some
Roberto Alonso. On October.
When you turn your head that way, I can't hear you.
Sorry.
What is the other event? The
Hispanic Heritage. The
Oh,
event.
Hispanic
Yes.
Heritage,
But
4 times.
But I will say that I was actually I was with Amador, he's my witness, that there was actually a event that I went to, when it was two events at the same time. So there was an autism event, which was great, and then it had also a memorial event for those that served in Vietnam.
Vietnam commemoration. event,
So
right.
it does happen.
It does happen.
does happen,
That was a different organization that threw it. It wasn't a committee event, the Vietnam commemoration event.
Right.
Neighborhood Bike Ride was a committee event. So yes, there's events that happen on the same day. It happens, but we don't suggest it. We're a small town and people again can't be in two places at once. So if they want to spend all your time at the car show and be at the Hispanic Heritage Month,
Right.
So, I mean, right now in the calendar, you're scheduled for 8 to 2. That was kind of the tentative time we were all discussing. So I just want to warn you, there's an event later in the day. There's a lot of attendance. Usually they do it every year. So
Right.
just something to keep in mind.
I think that what we should do is, I think we should move forward with the date and time. And I mean, unless, I don't, the thing, here's the issue, go ahead.
Are we locked into that date?
The thing is that month is tricky. Because what you have that month is, you have a event that happens at, Miami. For cops and firefighters as well. I want to say that's the following weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
how
why we
we
picked that
determine if they
date.
already announced the date.
At Tropical Park.
Yeah,
What's the name of the event, that event?
Heroes, something heroes.
Hometown Heroes.
Hometown.
Yeah, that's why we settled on the 7th, because there was stuff going around.
Yeah. And not for anything, but I mean, Hispanic Heritage Month is for a whole month. So I don't know if they confirmed that, like, I mean, can they move it? Is there any flexibility? Because,
They had this before the car show, so they had that date scheduled already.
That's a
So
dinner? That's a dinner? What?
It's a Hispanic Heritage Month. They have like food. They're celebrating Peru. Last year was Argentina.
And where do they do that?
They do it at Roberto Alonso Community Center. So we're at Wilkes Park.
I think for the sake of the meeting with timing, we'll talk about the date, later on in the meeting, or we can talk about it next meeting, but right now, I think we should really concentrate on details of this event to make sure that we can move it along, because there's a lot on the agenda. And then we can always look around to see if there's an alternative date, okay? So I guess, how are we feeling about the location?
Good.
Do you all like that? Do you want to explore an alternative location?
Depends on the date perhaps, because it has other stuff going on, even if it's smaller or whatever. Maybe pick a date and alternative. This way, it's already on the record. We'll take either one when the town has to start being involved in making appointments, and we have to do any of that. I would pick a date and an alternative date. This way you got both covered now. And you go from there.
But the issue is that I don't wanna waste time on the committee on the dates, because it actually takes a lot of research. I gotta figure out when that event, Hometown Heroes is, I gotta go back on the
That's
calendar.
what I'm, thinking. We might pick a date, and then the next thing you know, you come back with, oh no, something's happening. Now, let's have something else for you to pick.
Well, let him do the research, and then when he comes with all the dates for all the other stuff, then we'll have
That's fine.
something to lock in.
Yeah,
But look, but last year, Hometown Hero was on the 19th, and the year before was on the 20th. So if we go by that, it should be that same weekend, and it should be October it should be October the 18th. The 18th, yeah, that is a Saturday. So that gave us the 11th. If there's nothing there, then we can put as a tentative for our event, and it doesn't,
It always falls on a Saturday?
Yeah, they do
the
it.
11 is a Saturday, yeah.
No, the hometown hero always falls on a
Yeah, yeah,
Saturday?
And here's another thing, I don't know if we discussed it at the meeting, it's gonna be the middle of the football season. If the Hurricanes are playing at home,
Did they release that schedule already?
No, they release it now next week.
but I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of people watch football, and that might keep people in front of the TV for the day or the evening.
yeah, but you see, keep that in
Yeah,
mind,
but-
that's why we didn't do
Well,
Sunday.
you're gonna have that. one
Right,
every
because you have the
Saturday.
Yeah,
Dolphins.
so the dog, then you got also.
That's
The
what we
Kings is like,
Yeah. Sorry. Offended.
no offense. But
No, we're the same agreement. We're the same agreement.
So, the town management, October 11th, is there something on the calendar right now for October 11th?
Right now, there is not.
The 25th is, youth activities, Halloween.
Yeah, that's.
Why don't we pick a
That
date
is-
tonight? And-
Or 11th is a
The
Saturday.
11th is a
Yeah.
Saturday. And I think that was the first day that we originally kind of pinpoint, and then because we didn't know about the other one, but I'm looking at the other one, it has been the third weekend of October. So I'm thinking that they're gonna stick to that. I don't see why they should jump to the 11th.
All right,
Which group is that? Excuse me.
Hometown Heroes,
okay.
Tropical Park, the big celebration.
But
with
no,
the-
what committee is involved?
No, that's another.
Okay, it's a whole separate.
That's Miami-Dade County.
Okay.
Yeah, Miami-Dade County does.
So we could tentatively put.
So-
Right, but remember, that's typically during the daytime, then hometown heroes, that's not.
Yeah. I mean, technically, have you gone to that event, Amador?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of Miami Lakers that go?
So I'll say this, last year I was there, and at the time of the parade, I was in the parade. I see the car says Town of Miami Lakes, and a lot of people. I assume they're from Miami Lakes, and they were screaming so loudly, a ton of people were. I mean, that I saw, people that I knew, from the town, so people were screaming. Right. No, they weren't screaming at me.
No, yeah, you're.
We hate you, no.
All right, so for now, to make the secretary's job easier, we're not gonna take a motion just on the date, let's just do everything together as one
Okay,
motion.
that's fine.
But we'll change it right now for the 11th, for now. Just in case, we'll do, well, the Hispanic Heritage Month is a definite on the 4th.
They always have it every year. I can, check on the date, but that's what, they had it before you all scheduled the car show, so I'm
Right,
fairly certain they're
okay,
keeping
fine.
that date.
So now we'll do the 11th. In case something comes up, we might have to,
Okay, so you wanna do a motion to make it official? Or-
let's discuss the other details to make sure, like, so for example, if it's October 11th. So we have a motion, technically, we're supposed to have a motion before we talk about it. So we have a motion, me and Donald second. So that's a
Okay,
motion.
to open to discuss all
discuss
the
all
stuff.
this. So technically that was, now, the next thing is timing. Do we want to stick to an evening event? 5 to 9?
5 to 9,
To 9.
can we just do 3 to 8?
Say it again?
3 to 8.
I will tell you. If you would have gone to the Rivers event, you would have seen how good it is. 5 to 9. And then again, this is a discussion. This is where we all have to talk about it. 5 to 9, if you're thinking, and the reason why I'm saying 5 to 9 is the weather.
Yes, it'll be cooler.
That's why I'm saying it.
And people get out at night, not during that time.
Go an extra hour, 5 to 10.
That's even better.
But remember, you're always gonna, come on, make us 5, they're gonna show up at 6.
Or we do 4 to 9. Because you know they're gonna stay till 10 anyways.
4 to,
Or 4 to 10.
4 to 10, I like.
Okay. You know, it's funny because the one we went to was,
Right.
it was till 9, but guess what? Everybody was there.
Yeah,
so-
they.
Yeah.
4 to 10, you guys are discussing.
Oh, it's 4
On
to
October 11th.
4, 9, yes. 4, 9, 4, 10. If you want to keep it to say, people say, oh, wow, 10 o'clock, are you too late?
No, but Main Street was busy for a while.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Say 4 to 10.
4 to 10, okay.
Okay, 4 to 10.
Now, so we talked about time, we talked about date. Now let's talk about the location. Are you all okay with that location? You want to explore any other locations?
I think we should stick with that,
Yeah.
what you have.
I don't think we have time to explore,
Okay.
and that's good.
Okay.
If we find something better next
That's
year.
good value.
Okay.
Location.
It's our first year.
Yeah.
15500 New Barn Road. That's the location.
Right.
New barn,
Oh,
What,
New
you
Barn.
said
Yeah.
15500?
new barn. So
Yeah, you're gonna get I'm gonna pass something out next. Okay, now. I'm not very creative. I just asked my wife and my brother-in-law for ideas because they are very creative. Obviously, it's up to this committee, but they came up with a pretty cool name. Cars for Heroes. If you wanna bring it up, any other ideas maybe that you guys have in mind of?
No, that kind of goes straight to the point.
Yeah, pretty much. What do you think, Emma?
I like it. And then maybe you look at the POAT or one of those for,
slogan.
no, for, donations or like if you charge, I don't know, $5 per car, then it's gonna go to the POAT for fallen officers,
Yeah.
families, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the Toys for Tots, it's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
for that. So this is going to one of these organizations for,
All right, so now that's the perfect segue. For the sponsorship package, okay? Now, the reason why I'm saying that's a perfect segue is because the town was gracious enough, Isabella, was gracious enough to forward me an example of what a sponsorship looks like. Okay, this is an example from another committee of what a sponsorship looks like. Now, this is sponsorship for companies. If they're interested in coming to the event, and we have to kind of tie this into what Amador just said. Right, so obviously, this is a draft for you all to review and comment on. Obviously, you see stuff that I highlighted that we just discussed and thought it was a good idea. And I came up with different ideas. Now, what ends up happening is, there's a few things that I want to state for the record, for all of us to consider. Number one, the event is gonna cost money, right? So if we get sponsors, that would be great. If we don't get sponsors, which I already have people that are interested in sponsoring, I've already talked to Miami Lakes Auto Mall, they're interested. Game Day Miami Lakes. I don't know if Andrew Menendez is gonna end up doing anything now that we're not there, but I don't know. But I'm sure that if I talk to more people, they would be interested in doing it. Now, the whole idea is that. No. But I'll text you now, text you after. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Felicia. I'll send you after. So that the whole thing is that, you have, this is just sponsorship. We have our budget that I do think we need to, like, the breakfast thing needs to be chopped, and we need to allocate, my position to this event, that money. And then if we're gonna charge at the door, right, for cars to come in and do the event. Now, if we do something to like fallen police officers, we gotta do it for firefighters as well. So anything that we get, we gotta split it out of it, Yes, sir.
Just in case, worst case scenario, we don't get sponsors or packages? Can our budget absorb this whole event?
Well, right now, that's where I need the help of, you all. I've gotten some numbers, I just have to call them. But I mean, here's the thing, I don't think that for someone showing up, like, food truck wise, I don't think we pay for that. Those guys come, they set up, whatever they sell, they sell.
They don't pay for a spot?
We can put that, I know Isabella was saying that.
Right, it depends on the event, like the 4th of July event, that's bigger, they pay a larger amount to be there, whereas a park event, they might pay, I don't know, like 20, 30 bucks. It depends on the size of the event, this is the first time you're doing it, so you have to take that into
That's what we said.
account, right?
Because it's the first time
So
around.
you don't wanna charge too much, if you wanna charge it all.
How much do they charge at the bigger events? $25, you said, or no?
No, I think, 4th of July might be 100 or, yeah, it's
Usually
pricey.
100.
Let's,
So 20, so we could do like $25,
Do
because
a
it's the
flat-
first
like a
one.
flat rate.
Yeah, and they're gonna come because they're gonna probably sell more than
what about
$25.
$50? You cut it in half.
Mhm. Yeah, 50 and then you do.
Because you tell them, you know what I mean, if you're Joe Blow with a truck,
Listen,
right? And you paid $100,
If you do
for
50,
different
they're gonna,
events.
they're gonna make the $50 in the first hour.
yeah,
If-
I
if
would
we
say
get a good turnout,
$50, you're either
Those
gonna be there or
$50,
not.
they're gonna do it in the first hour.
Yeah.
So,
So to kind of, to go ahead and take it one thing at a time to keep it organized, I guess, let's talk about the sponsorship package. I know for like Cars for Cure, I had a friend that sponsored for Cars for Cure. I mean, I wouldn't even say the amount, how much it was, to keep it confidential, but nonetheless, he got to put his car where he wanted, right? So that's why I put here that if you're a gold sponsor, you get 3 parking spots. That's a prime spot. Obviously, if this location works out, that would be something towards the middle, where everybody can see that person's car. If it's Miami Lakes Auto Mall, guess what? They're gonna have their new cars parked there, so we can look at it, and help them out with the Jeep sales, which they're not doing very well. So I guess to stick to one item, how do you all feel about the packages? What is included in the packages? For the record, I totally copied what Isabella gave, okay? I just changed the first line item from vehicles. Yes, ma'am.
This is our first rodeo.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's don't make it complicated. And we gotta sit here and figure out which are the prime spaces and let's just leave it. Whoever, signs up can pick the best spot and leave it at that. Don't make it all on us. And like I said, it's our first time. It's gonna be too complicated saying, well, you pay so much and you get this spot and somebody else says, well, gee, I didn't know about that. It's just gonna cause more
Well-
headache, in my opinion.
Well, here's the idea.
Unless somebody else has done that in the past and we can,
No, they have. So, for example, the Cars for Cure, the spot that I got last time was a prime spot. It was in front of CM Montaditos. And, I couldn't park there this year, because somebody bought it. They sponsored the event, so a friend of mine parked his Corvette there. Another friend of mine parked, in front of Corner
then where did you-
67.
then where did you get relegated to?
I got next to where, Sam Goody used to be, because that's what I know it as.
And you paid less money or
I
the
paid
same
I
amount?
paid the flat fee to enter, which was $25.
Yeah, I think it's, it's a lot. It's a lot. Unless you know enough and have spoken to enough people to know, here's the guidelines, do it this way and you won't have, you know what I mean? If we're so new at this,
But here.
I just don't want to see
So wait, I don't
problems.
understand the issue. What's the discussion?
Charging different amounts of money
But
for
this is,
different
but
locations.
this is
We're not
sponsorship.
we're not charging different amount of money to different cars.
This
What
is
we doing
sponsored.
is sponsored. This is a sponsor. So if I have my company and I want to sponsor the event, depending on which package I'm gonna get, is
That's what you get.
what I
I
have.
understand now, okay.
So it's not like,
Yeah,
Pepito,
Yeah, I know.
nobody knows who he is, wants his car here. I'm gonna charge him 50 for here, and then this one, I'm gonna charge him 25. If this is for the sponsor, so if you get a sponsorship, the top tier, you get 3 cars, and we decide based on that, okay, you go here, here, here. But if you're a regular person, okay, you pay the 25, unfortunately, you're number 10 on the list, so your spot is gonna be right there. And
well,
that's it, but it's gonna be
have prime
25.
spots already been identified, or is that gonna be our job? I'm just saying,
everything's our job.
oh, there you go.
Everything's our
what
job,
I'm saying.
and that's why that's why we're here. I mean, look, we have
Kind
100%
of new with
attendance.
this,
We
you know.
we gotta figure it out. We gotta figure it out, you know, so I mean, again, let's not worry about the price, the parking spaces right now. Let's just talk about this. right?
It makes sense. Base, if you get 700.
Yeah.
You get 3 spots. If you get 400, you get 1 spot, and then if you're a regular vendor, all you wanna do is just bring your pen and your table.
Yeah.
That's $100. Okay, you go to your spot. You promote your business.
Okay.
If you wanna give away goodies, that's up to you. If you don't wanna give out goodies and you wanna give material, that's up to you.
Okay,
Why not 350 for the silver? Just half of.
let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
And then the other one could be half of the 300, 150.
technically it's 125.
No, if you go 300, cause 350, you're
Yeah.
doing 350, okay, yeah. I thought you were doing 300.
Yeah.
See where I'm going on?
All right, silver sponsor is gonna be 350,
350, and then the other one's gonna be, 175.
one
125.
125, no,
125. Half of 350 is 125, right?
No.
No, 175.
175.
I corrected the account.
Okay.
Take away
The account is,
You,
Half I am.
I'm not going to you.
yeah, no. Buddy.
Well, if it works out in your favor.
Okay.
That's a reasonable chance.
you can't even do them back.
For sponsors, shit, I'm not doing my business.
But the whole idea, you know, I will tell you. I think I don't know, now that I come to think about it, maybe just think about it. If you keep it at 100.
I'd say.
Yeah.
It's more
People are gonna
attractive.
be like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah,
I wanna do
it's
this.
more
You know,
attractive,
like,
yeah.
you're gonna be so.
So 100, 300, and 700. I'm sorry, 100, 350, and 700.
It's 100. I'm telling you, you're gonna have a lot of businesses, because I'm gonna push it to the BNI folks too.
Right.
All right, so now. The whole idea is, you have this in mind. I know it's kind of hard, because we're not there, we should have had a meeting in the parking lot. First row against the building, cars. Right? And then cars probably lined up facing each other. Second row. Is people that do exhibits. Right? So these are gonna be the people that maybe wanna put a tent. Because they're exhibiting their, whatever it is, like a friend of mine does he's a car broker. You might want his tent there, in the middle, along with everybody else. I don't know how this is gonna work with the farmer's market, if they're gonna wanna join the party. I don't know if there's a lot of work for them to set up again. Because they're gonna be in the other place where they usually set up on Saturdays. I don't know if they're gonna wanna walk over and set up. And the third row is gonna be all the food trucks. Right, so you have there, I mean, I have already some people that do like pork and stuff that they wanna come and set up. You know, so the whole idea is that. Okay, so hold on a second, let me keep it organized. We're okay with this. 700, 350, 100, everything's okay with this, right? Now. Before I move on to the food trucks and what we charge for them, or if we don't charge anything. The town needed this, bought it from us for next month. Because they meet with, which there's no date yet, but they do meet with Memorial. Memorial sponsorship sponsors a lot of our events. So now if this is done, we can give it to Memorial and say, hey, this is the event, if you want to join, right? So I'm really glad that we're having this conversation and we got to a good point. Now, let's talk about the food trucks. I don't know, if you guys want to charge the food trucks, we can. If you don't want to charge them, I'm fine with that too. I mean, the only thing is that we gotta put a cap. I don't know, I mean, at some point, that parking lot can't hold 100 food trucks.
If it's all first come, first
Yeah,
served,
but
then
that's
you
what I was
don't
gonna
have to
say.
worry about money
Yeah, but
and location and all that stuff.
I would,
You know, it's our,
I get that, but the thing is, if we should have a head count, okay, we're gonna get 20 spots.
in the first
The first 20,
25.
that's it.
But I think we should put it by category. In other words, we don't want two burger places.
Right,
No,
correct.
no, no, I get that.
Right,
But
but
I-
I just keep that in mind next time.
No,
But
no,
I think
but
25
like, for example, if we're gonna do the third road, it's gonna be food truck, we gotta actually go there. And based on the logistic, okay, how big are these trucks? We can determine, okay, so in this area, we can fit 15. So whoever the first 15 comes in, but then the same thing, like you just said, we cannot have 30 pizza places,
Yeah, I know.
one next to each other, or 4 burgers, or whatever the case may be. So if, let's say, for example, there's a burger place and then the next day another burger place.
Yeah,
But
as they come in, you keep a
Yeah.
list.
We were covered with the burger, so
Yeah.
Mexican, perfect, fritanga, whatever, different
Well-
pizza, whatever. But then once we get to the 15, that's it, nothing else.
Unless we don't make 15, then you open it and maybe get like another.
Yeah. And by the way,
And who's gonna be the person that's gonna be in charge of that? One of our committee members?
yeah, we are divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Divide
And I
conquer.
and I
so
think
then it's gotta
25
be
bucks.
somebody
too.
who knows.
I
what
think,
they're
come
I
in.
think you're right. The 25 bucks, I think is more than reasonable.
Yeah, and they'll come
And
in.
it's the first time, like, remember, like, if we do fit 25, they're not gonna say, oh, no, because they are
They're
gonna
gonna
make more
make
than
it.
that.
Yeah.
And if, remember, we tell them, this is something that we're gonna do every year. So if you participate the first year, and then next year we decide to charge 100 because you participated the first year, we're gonna give you the grandfather 50 instead of 100. And then you go, depending how it works, but you let them know from the get-go, look, this is something that we're gonna try to do every year.
The prices may increase.
They,
Yeah.
no, they will.
Yeah.
We'll give them ahead of time. Once we get more established. It might, but because you're here from the beginning, we give you the returning vendor discount. Something like that. That's it.
I would tell you guys to, when you talk to Oscar, to pick his brain on how they've done events. Because remember, these people have done all types of events. So they also have, things where like, you can say, listen, if you're gonna charge this amount, but I can do this for you, or, instead of charging that, let's do this, and then I can get a bowling truck. Things like that, where, things that we're not even
Right.
talking
Yeah,
about,
know that
or
exists.
thinking about, right, or know that exists, or the gaming truck, right? Because that's gonna bring more kids and stuff like that. And a big thing is that, since it's a company, they have the insurances. Because that's been a problem with the park. And he already has all the insurances and all the permits and everything that have been processed through the town already. Because he's doing so many events through the town. He was part of the Easter one on Saturday. And he's the one that brought all the food trucks and all that.
So that's why it's also, before we jump in to see how we're gonna break our head trying to determine all that, we can talk to him first and be like,
How
okay,
you handle this?
what is the
Yeah.
package that you offer? And if he tells you, no, I'm not gonna charge you guys anything because I deal with them. Right, but I'll take that pain away from you guys, by all means. Go
Who's
ahead.
gonna handle?
We just
Someone
kind of
from
do
town?
Yeah, so,
took away a lot of the problems
Okay,
from the
so,
town.
We need an experienced person.
so to repeat what Nancy's saying is, she's saying, who's gonna handle, is it a committee member or the town?
There's too many rules, and I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, if. Has anybody else in this room done this before and knows down the list what we have to do, that's great.
Yeah, but.
I nominate that person, but if not, then we need somebody who's experienced, and I'm sorry, I'm dumping it on your shoulders. Because we need guidance,
Yeah, but.
so we don't
No, no, but-
screw up and not,
but
I
what,
mean, I can
what-
talk to Oscar, but you're the committee, I
Yes,
can't speak
yes.
for you,
Yes,
right?
that's
You
true.
tell me.
we already got the person's information that he does that thing for the town.
That's perfect.
So all we need to do is relay the
Who's that?
information, this is what we want.
He's a vendor.
Can you go ahead and take this pain away from us? And then he tell me, yes, John, we can do all that for you guys, and all I'm gonna tell you is, they're gonna be there at this time, and they're gonna leave at this time. That's all you're gonna hear about?
as long as we got
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
That's what
Everything
they
else.
want. That's what they want.
And
They
then
want
you
a
deal with
place.
everything else.
But
to be able to
also
help.
too, like, apart from Oscar, remember, we talked about the beer, we talked about the cigars,
But don't they-
and all that
he can
stuff.
Don't Oscar the guy's contact.
He
with
knows,
us.
that guy will know about all that.
But I already have two.
So but
What's
that's
his
the
name,
thing,
Oscar?
if you already got people that can actually do that for you, then talk to them, okay. I just wanna show up there and everything is in place. I don't
I
have to worry
nominate
about that.
Oscar to handle that.
And that's it.
No, and there's been events where Oscar, their company's called Family Food Trucks. They've had 90% of it, and then, but there's a food truck that the town's always used. And then those two food trucks came out, not with their
Right.
company, but they were there too.
Yeah.
And then he handled 90% of the situation, and those two food trucks were also there, and obviously he's fine with it because you're setting the But I'm sorry, the committee is setting the ground rules of what you really want.
Right, and the whole thing is, like, perfect example, Vicky Bakery did Cars for Cure. I was like, wow, I didn't even know you guys, like, oh yeah, that's our new franchise. We have it now too. That's a cool thing too, that, people don't think about, you know? Even like, for example, like, Chef, Frankie, the one that does Mayor's Cafe, he was at, the farmer's market this week. That's probably somebody that wants to go into. So what Oscar doesn't have, there's gonna be other people that are
So
gonna
even
be
if
super
he
interested
does
to do
have
it.
it, just because we have him, but that's what I'm talking about. But when it comes to stuff like that, he already know how to do Oscar,
Oh, no, for
things are
sure.
done. So I'm pretty sure that Frankie and Vicky Baker, they already know, oh, all we need to do is, provide this information and we're there.
Right.
So that's what we need to get, those type of people that we can tell them, okay, I need this amount of food truck. Can you get them here? I don't want repeat vendors. I just want,
Right.
option for the people gonna be here. I just wanna show up and have them there. Because we have a whole bunch of other stuff to deal with, where the cars are going, where everything else.
No, we have
set up.
fire trucks, we have
Yeah,
police
so-
gonna bring their armored vehicles.
So if we
hopefully
can,
cross the
delegate this to somebody that can do it for us, and we don't have to worry about it, that's the best thing to do.
He's like the general contractor. He's like takes care of.
But it's
everything.
true, but it's true. If,
No, yeah,
if-
no.
if you have somebody that can go ahead and do everything for you, why are you gonna go
crazy.
ahead
Okay.
doing that? So,
Is it just him?
No, there's other people, as we're talking about.
Yeah, but they already mentioned somebody and I missed that name.
Well, I think we need to, like, let's just do this to keep the meeting going. Let's just, next meeting, let's dive into that specific, because every single meeting, we're gonna have to bring it
Yeah,
up.
who's gonna be in charge of what is basically.
Yeah, so
what
next meeting, we
I'm
gotta
making this up.
dial in more into this. Okay, so now, we talked about pretty much everything here. The one thing that, before we close this item is Deputy Amador. I know I sent the request through for headquarters. I mean, has that already been submitted to the gatekeeper, or? For the record, this is, I've sent an email like, hey, can we get SWAT vehicles, any armored vehicles, bomb vehicles, anything?
What can you give us?
What can you give us for the event?
So
We give you all the.
we have,
on a
we
squad
have,
car.
we have historically and we have now.
Yeah,
There's two different things. Historically, everything's been easier, more streamlined. Guys, we want this and then this. Perfect. Basically, every time is whatever you guys want. You guys never ask for anything. Bike rodeo, whatever you want, take them all. You guys are good, right? Now it's, oh, hold on, we have all these problems. Not the town, but the transition. No one knows what's going on. That's really the,
well, that's Dave County.
no one knows what's happening.
So we get Amador and his squad car. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
We have an actual.
My personal car.
We have one that's armored.
That's all right?
Yeah.
So now, so then I guess, in your case, I guess you submitted that.
Yeah, and the thing is getting a response has been the problem. We have a mental health workshop scheduled for a few weeks from now, and we still haven't gotten a 100% that our people are gonna come out for that.
Okay.
And it's a few weeks.
A
Okay.
longer
So
process.
So in other words, we'll keep following up. So now, as far as Lieutenant over here, I guess you're handling fire?
Yeah.
Okay,
You're gonna set the fire?
What do you want?
okay. So then now, Mr. Secretary, I apologize in advance. Here's the motion. The motion is for AE and seconded by Darwin. October 11th. Location is on that sheet.
Mhm.
Name of event is Cars for Heroes. Time is 4 to 10.
Mhm.
Sponsorship package has been given as presented. You can put that in your minutes as presented. And then the vendors,
Pending.
let's do that, let's do that pending. Okay, but at least now we have some pretty important things that now are on the record.
You email me that,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? None. Okay, so let's just, for the record, CA and second, Darwin. Okay,
Yes.
we're moving on to, next one, very, very important, May. National Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. Unfortunately, I felt really bad, but Giancarlo had an urgent matter with his mom. But I went ahead and presented to the council for them to, light up the town hall in blue. I'm assuming, they didn't talk about it, but I'm assuming it's gonna be worked on.
Yeah, I can follow up, but it
Yeah.
should be. I
Okay.
did it last year. but-
Okay, now, very important. I was able to broker with the Miami Lakes Chamber to have a Major Gonzo speak at Miami Lakes Chamber Luncheon on May 14. Is there anyone on this committee that would like to attend? That way we can take a vote and make sure that your ticket is paid for. You will?
What time of day is it?
11:30.
Oh,
In the morning?
2, yes. Anyone else?
2 p.m. you said?
No, 11:30.
Oh, 11:30, I didn't.
Yeah.
Do I have to also, like, RSVP right there, or I just show up with council?
You know, here's the thing, and Isabella's working on it.
Yeah.
Right, we don't know the number of people going yet. for
The
this.
town has a table
Mhm.
that's designated for town officials. If those folks, end up not going, guess what? We now sit in that table. But I need to cover ourselves as a committee and vote on a dollar amount in case that table is fully reserved. Okay? So to answer your question, Amador, you're covered in whatever we vote. Okay? So that's the answer I have for you. Okay? Even though I'll tease Tico and I'm sure we can do something.
Can we take it out of our budget?
Yeah.
It's a reasonable, what would be a reasonable amount?
Well, here's the way we're
Everybody
gonna,
got an idea?
here's the math. I'm a member, so it's $45 per person. Okay? So we
Okay.
have here 3 people. Who else is going? We have Amador as 4.
Me,
Lieutenant, 5. Can't go, is it working?
Yeah, I'm working.
Okay, Louis. You wanna go or no?
Yeah.
You wanna go too? Oh, all right, so we have, Johnny. You can't, he's a new dog, yeah. Okay. Este Vienes?
No.
No, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's a motion on the table for 6 individuals. Okay, up to, so now let me do the math. And you know what? Don't even put me in. Fine, we'll do that. 6 times 45 is $270. Okay, now this item, again, I am taking this motion to put a cap. Because we might not even have to pay, because if we have the table will come on us.
Give me the total one more time.
Okay, so it's a motion for 6 individuals, up to $270. Okay, that's $45 a person times 6 is $270. So my motion, yes, ma'am,
Before you make this motion,
yes,
this would be coming out of the new aware line item, and there's no money in that yet, so first you, as chair, you have to allocate funds to that.
yes, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so
gonna make a motion that we table that until we do the other vote.
we can't,
Well, this vote comes
we have,
before.
we have to do this vote now, we won't be able to go. Because it's.
No, but that's what I'm saying, is making a motion now to back up and go to what you don't have it on the
Right.
agenda, right? To do what she just
No, this is
said.
part of this agenda.
It's on there, it's on here.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, just want to cover.
Yeah, yeah, it's on here. So, and that, when we presented to council in January, we asked for chamber lunches, $360. So I'm still a little confused why I have to make a motion for this, because I presented to the council, I will be honest. However, I'm going to follow the lead of town management, and I'm making a motion to have in the aware line item, $360. Do I have a second? Okay, we have a second from Mr. John Carlo. All in favor, say aye.
Okay, so you threw me off. You're just mentioning the total amount in that line item?
So the finance department has created a new line item for us in our budget called aware, which is awareness. But right now, I don't have what we're gonna do for other campaigns, but I know that for a fact, when I presented to council, when we presented to council, I was a representative, we asked for $360 in Miami Lakes Chamber lunch. So now I just made a motion, we all agreed, $360 to that line item. So in the aware budget line item, $360.
From which line item? From breakfast again, or?
Yes,
From breakfast?
yeah, everything out of breakfast.
From breakfast line item.
Yes, sir. Yep. That's $360. Now that we have the money there, I guess, in theory, now making a second motion. This motion is for 6 individuals, up to $270 for the Miami Lakes Chamber Luncheon event. That's my motion. Do I have a second?
All right, who's second the first?
Okay,
I'll second this one.
okay. So now we have CA and Mr. Darwin for 6 individuals, up to $270. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No. Okay, that takes care of that line item. we will know for sure. Isabella's supposed to contact us with what's happening that day. I think, Amador, are you gonna get I think we're gonna get the car, right? Or the vehicle, I don't know.
Yeah, if it's available, I'm hoping it out myself.
Well, the reason why I'm saying this, committee is because the Miami-Dade Chamber Luncheon Events is held at the, ballroom at Miami-Dade's Hotel. So everybody kind of walks in to the, entranceway where there's like an overhang. And when Amador mentioned, hey, I'll pick up the car, that's all wrapped for law enforcement. I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool because now everybody that comes in is gonna want to take a picture in front of the car. So I thought it would be nice publicity for the sheriff's office.
We're okay to park their car and leave it there. It's there.
Police. Okay, continuing, May 15 is coffee over pop, okay? For the record, we had an issue. You had an issue with the location that we voted on last time, or that we voted on, that we suggested, which was Mayor's Cafe, because of its layout. Therefore, I was lucky enough to hound and get a hold of the Einstein Bagels manager, and it's gonna be held at Einstein Bagels. Okay,
The inside bagel is bigger and more comfortable.
it's,
Because
yeah,
I've been in it, same thing, same scenario.
it was approved by the sheriff's office.
And that was the reason they canceled, because of.
No, and we'll revisit the other location,
Okay.
because one big thing was talked about is that at this point, whatever, for instance, if I feel or you feel that the location is too small, too big, whatever, doesn't matter. What matters is that the vendor says, I want you here, and that's fine.
But that was the same situation because mayors wanted us there.
Right,
They
right.
wanted us there. They were willing to do everything.
Right.
I
But
get it.
now-
I get the
there was
real
a
reason, but
space
let's
came
go
up.
by space.
The space.
I know the real reason, but let's go by space.
So we're having it at Einstein's, anything you all can do to market the event, please market it. I think this one's gonna be great. I mean, everyone's, the major loves Einstein Bagel, so make sure that we get the major, bagel. So that's what's going on there on May 15th. Okay, now, something else that I'm learning. I was approached by Tio Casamayor, someone that's, gives a lot to the town, that a company by the name of CCMS wanted to sponsor a lunch for first responders. This committee did not have a motion for that, okay, because it happened after our meeting. So I went to the communications department, they said, hey, technically you can't do this because it happened. I said, no, I know, is there any way we can put it on this, internal meeting, right? They said, well, at the same time, Councilman Sanchez was also approached about this lunch. So essentially, what's happening is Councilman Sanchez is kind of taking ownership of this event. Okay, because he was approached about the location, if he can, reserve town hall. So we're kind of working with Councilman Sanchez just to support the whole event, okay? And this is, Bahia, on May 22nd at 1 p.m. This is for people that have the shift at that point, and we already got confirmation thanks to the Lieutenant Darwin's his colleagues. So the shift will be coming in from both Station 1 and 64. We'll be visiting, and then we have a shift that ends at 1 o'clock, I think, and starts at 3 or 1 or 2. That is going to be coming from the sheriff's office, right? So that's May 22nd at 1 p.m. If anyone wants to show up and support, you're more than welcome.
Is there any way that we can, are we like, just supporting it? We're not co-sponsoring anything? Cause I'm thinking if we could jump in on this, then we could get rid of our breakfast. And that's more money for the car show.
But because it was done after.
No,
Yeah, so we're not paying them
okay.
because the company is sponsoring one.
No, I get you. I was just
Where's it
saying.
gonna be?
Right here in town chambers. Oh, it's the town chamber,
Town chamber.
in town chamber.
So we're still doing our own thing,
We're still doing our own thing.
our
I mean,
food delivery.
I've worked, they'll tell you, the sheriff's office, I worked with Soto to coordinate this.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
and-
if we could have jumped on this some way officially, then it would have freed up all that money for the car show.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you say.
You know
free up
what?
money, because,
No, because
If
the thing is, what he's saying is, if we jump on the
Co-sponsors.
bandwagon or comes to this event, and kind of co-sponsor of the event, we don't have to do our
Our
event
food delivery.
of, on September.
I can tell you this much, for this committee, when I was approached by Tico and by this company, I did all the work of speaking to the fire and speaking to the sheriff's office. So in their eyes, we have to do this, all right? So it's one of those things where, you know, if you all want to come and, you know, wear your polo and support, you can do that. In their eyes, guess what? We helped. We helped. And to a certain extent, I think we'll have to talk about it at a later time, but I think there's better uses, me personally, than that breakfast. I think there's a lot of things going on that we're talking about that, you know, even Detective Nieves brought up a lot of really good ideas with things that are going on in the town that I think are probably better for us to invest our money. So,
Who's putting on this breakfast thing?
so this is a lunch. Okay, this was a private company that approached.
Is that CCMS?
Yeah, CCMS. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, so
So they're doing a thing for first responders.
they essentially.
Fire.
Well, they essentially, Nancy, they essentially kind of approached us. But we as a committee couldn't do anything because there was no motion on the table. And it needed to be done beforehand, or better said, timely, for it to be confirmed. So we had to bring in a councilman for that to be his item, and we're kind of like helping with the event. So, okay, all right, perfect. All right, next item, so, okay, Lock It or Lose It campaign. Okay, for the record, and I'm gonna stop there for a second. It's 8:30. If anyone wants to defer anything and talk about it next meeting, we can, just because of timing. So we can, you know, just keeping it out there, if you all want to defer anything. Now, I will say that the Lock It or Lose It campaign, and you know what, I think it's pretty important, and Nieves, if you can, just talk about like the incident that we just talked about with, you know, the crime that's been going on with the cars.
Really, are you referring to leaving weapons in the vehicles?
Yes.
Or,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this fingerprinting and,
right, yes, wanted to encourage residents to, contact us if they have video where, you could see that the individual doesn't have gloves on, and we can maybe get some prints off of the vehicle. For the most part, most of these incidents are happening with, where the faces are covered and their gloves or
Yeah.
kids are wearing gloves, so it's hard to develop any of these. So the only way we can is if anybody who does have some pretty decent video where they can see that some fingers touch the car. It's a detail. It's, you know, it would be, you know, really, really helpful. The other element of it was encouraging how we can help to educate and encourage residents to follow through with, if they do report a crime and we do make an arrest, to support them in continuing with the case. By answering whatever questions and, you know, making sure that they have all the information they need so that they can feel comfortable, because we do have too many times where we all work from my partners who first respond to the scene, to my processing vehicles for well over an hour, and then we make an arrest, and I find out from the state attorney's office that you don't really want to do it. And that's yeah, it's very frustrating. And the third, I'm sorry, yes.
No, finish.
Oh,
And I have
And
a
the third
question.
part was some sort of campaign to encourage residents to not leave their guns in the vehicles. These guns get stolen and they're used in further crimes. And so I'd like to see if there's if you all think that that would be worthy effort, and
PSA,
how we could
PSA,
go about
the
doing that.
PSA.
No individual should be leaving their gun in their car.
No.
It just should not happen, because that puts us at risk as well. When we respond to a vehicle burglary, now we're responding to an armed vehicle burglar, someone who arrived on the scene without a weapon and now they have one. So, and that's been happening, and vehicle left unlocked. And how you leave a gun in your car and your vehicle unlocked is, it's just not, not now. So, I wanted to look into how you guys would help with encouraging a campaign for that.
I hope I can remember both things, but one of them is, if a resident has some film of an incident across the street at their neighbors or whatever, not to be a negative Nancy, but I'm gonna say it. That's gonna go to court, perhaps based on their filming, and the next thing you know, there's going to be retaliation. If it comes out where that filming came from, we have to protect the person providing the evidence in some way, whether it be anonymous or they submit it. That's the only issue I would be concerned with, because that person arrested based on that film could have friends or whatever that come back, and then there's retaliation, and I see a resident being reluctant to give up the film for that reason, number one. And what was the last thing you talked about?
Even guns and
Oh,
vehicles.
leaving the guns in the car and everything. There's another campaign for us,
Yes,
even if
I-
we just print up these babies and leave them wherever we have to leave them in the businesses or anything. That's real important. That's a no-brainer.
Just a quick question, is there any way? And you guys might do it already. When you talk to the victims, you let them know from Jump Street how important it is for them to stick through all the way through prosecution. I mean, I don't know, you guys might be telling them that, or if you
but-
don't, maybe we could tell them, so they don't waste your time, you know.
But the thing is,
Yes.
the thing is, first of all, because they want to make a scene that they broke into the car, and technically they didn't. So it was, they left the car open, so. technically-
The ones where
No,
there's a
no, I get
crime.
that, but technically the person didn't broke into the car, so when they go to court. The person don't wanna deal with that, so they just be like, oh, no, I'm not gonna deal with that, so. Right away, they gotta let them go,
No, yeah.
but I know that they do tell them, look, you gotta go through the whole process, because that way we can take care of them. But the person, once they leave, they'll be like, oh, no, I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know if
That's
they
the
were pulled
frustration
from Jump
part.
Street, just, and whether it makes a difference or not.
Absolutely, so it's a great question, a great point, and I'm going to be looking into our angle for everything, for all the crime prevention. That's why we work together, because he works more in the community aspect of it, and I work for my partners and our police efforts. So, definitely, I'm working with my partners and with the officers, because I'm having roll calls with them as well. And I want to be sure that we are delivering a more effective message as well from our end at the beginning. And so one of the things I was thinking was, if perhaps the committee wants to come up with just like a small card, or, something that has your, committee information on it, where it says has some information that they might find helpful and supportive, and encouraging. In their part, in their criminal justice system as a victim. But yes, I agree, and we do that, but perhaps we could find ways to be more effective in our messaging as well.
The problem is the criminal defense part, their job is for the victim to disappear.
Right.
And they're very good at it. They'll extend court dates, and they'll push them again.
Yeah, and then
So
the
even
poor
if
guy
the victim initially
is
wants
losing
to
work
be
basically.
on top of it, they get kind of discouraged too,
Yeah.
and then it really, right, it depends on the severity of the crime.
Yeah.
So they took something from the car and they're like, look, you know what, they just took whatever, and I don't wanna deal with it.
No,
But what they don't understand is when you deal with it like that, these people are coming back. If they know they're gonna be dealt with severely, they're not going back to this area, they're gonna do it somewhere else.
correct.
It being the town is smaller, it's maybe hard for individuals to understand that in this area, we take things seriously, but they certainly understand it county by county. Because in our interviews with subjects, they have made reference to, oh, no, we don't do anything there, because there,
They follow through, they prosecute.
Yes, and something that I just remembered, the actual processing of a vehicle, for instance, the home is the home, but the vehicle. You can go to other districts and there might not be anybody that's gonna come out and process the vehicle. Here in the town, they're gonna process the vehicle every time. So even that part, if they're made aware of that, you know, oh wow, you know, go to that area because they're gonna be more productive on catching the people.
Yeah, I think what we need to do, and it's something that I think that Neils and I kind of touched upon. We need to make sure that the major speaks about some of these points at the Miami Lakes Chamber luncheon event. And we need to make sure that when the coffee of the cop comes, we gotta have conversations as well with people that are visiting.
How important it is to
Yeah,
follow through.
and I do think that maybe we need to put our heads together with, you know, how do we wanna market this? Is it something on, you know, the Miami Laker that, you know, it gets put out as an article? You know, or, you know, block in the page for an advertisement, it talks about lock it or lose it, the guns in the car, you know, like one of the things that Nieves and I were talking about is, you know, what are the odds of you not reporting somebody and that person doing it again? I'm pretty sure it's pretty high. Yeah. Okay, because I mean, me personally, I'm a victim. Nieves handled my case. You know, I gave the guy you know, what's it called, boot camp or whatever?
Yeah.
He's still, I get the alert still today, and that was in 2019. Okay, so I think that's something we gotta figure out how to get out the lock it or lose it and kind of tie this all in together. And, you know, let's put our heads together. I know last time I thought about, you know, doing the Miami Laker, but let's figure it out. Yeah,
Detective Detective Bright. And I worked on the blue light campaign with the candles and all that. And with it, we had a little stand that we had the cards placed on, remember? And they mostly handled one specific subject. Perhaps we're not gonna fit it all on that same card again, but the part about Lockett and the guns and showing up in court and following through, I think that's an important item to draw attention to, as well as perhaps having the cards made up for that. And we don't have to have the stands and the blue lights and all that, but have cards printed up. Because, you know, even myself, working in the police department, it never occurred to me that your witnesses weren't showing up. And maybe back then they weren't afraid. I don't know, maybe that's why I didn't hear about it, but nevertheless, now we have a problem with witnesses and victims not showing up for fear of any kind of, you know, issue coming back at them. So if we maybe made up some cards and made people, especially the business people, we hand them out to them or something and make them aware. Heck, I wasn't even thinking of it. Imagine a business person thinking, if I don't get involved and don't go to court, and it's only $1,000 they took on, you know what I'm saying, that attitude, you have to get involved.
The lock it or lose it card has a 9 o'clock reminder on it. To go out and check your car and all that. PSA with that. And then include, don't leave keys in the car, because that's another one that, they're leaving keys in the car. Don't leave guns, any
Guns.
valuables, and lock your car. To include all that, that would help.
let's,
We were talking about, the Detective Nibs was telling me about the importance of trying to get these communities to like send a text. So I went to Newborn, I spoke to the management, and based off of that recommendation, they did that. They started sending emails to their renters, and they said they were gonna text them at 9 o'clock for a while. That to lock it or lose it, a picture of the actual card. So that, you know, for them, it's a constant reminder. For a while, they're gonna do it for a while because they had just had a
Yeah.
break-in in one of the parts. And it wasn't a break-in, it was a car that was left.
People are
unlocked.
just not aware.
well, let's figure out next meeting, it's homework for all of us. We gotta come up with a campaign. Okay, whether that's putting something, a design, like an actual, like, let's just say a flyer, an image form that gets on Instagram. Or maybe that gets printed, or something that goes on the Miami Laker, but something that's all encompassing. So let's figure out something that can kind of grab the attention of people. And then keep this in mind, because whoever's gonna go to the Miami Lakes luncheon, and if the major does not bring it up as a question. Because there is
We
gonna
can
be,
have cards ready by then.
there's gonna be a Q&A. Well, if you wanna have cards by then, I don't know if the lock it or lose it campaign, we can print it for that event. Is that something we
We have
have?
cards.
We have? You
Yeah,
have?
we have tons of cards.
Well, then let's bring it to the next camp, to the.
Anybody going, anybody
I
going to those
would bring them
luncheons
to
or
the,
whatever?
To the coffee with the cop?
Coffee with the Cop and, yeah.
Let's bring it to the luncheon. And I give those out to everybody that comes in, all the businesses.
I'll
We'll
do
help
it.
you out.
The
Everybody will be
great
there.
thing about it is that it's a great campaign, right? The card, it's perfect. Like, you don't have to like really
Yeah.
make, add more, maybe like too many changes. Like, it's perfect. It's a card, it has nice information on it. It has a reminder in the back, 9 p.m. reminder.
Well, if the
Those-
lock it
they're
or
all big.
lose it doesn't have the specifics about the more serious things now. The car's being left unlocked because there's guns or this or that or whatever. When you hand out the card, you can say, and by the way,
Yeah.
This
and-
you know,
includes,
you're already saying, that doesn't mention guns on here,
this
but
includes, yeah.
You know.
That's just for that car. People put it in their pocket, and guess what? They're gonna wash their hands, they're never gonna look at it again. So just keep that in mind.
But at least at one time you give it to them, it'll register.
But you got 33,000 residents. Just remember, in
Oh,
in Instagram, you have what, 17,000 followers? That's what Miami has on Instagram?
yeah, but we had it where we were giving them out to the businesses and we even had the little
But you're talking.
holder,
but you're talking-
remember?
but-
We had the holder that they could sit it right by the register and everything.
But think about it, you're talking about Instagram, it's instant gratification. I hate to, it's the news, it's the new game. It's the new game, we're gonna get you on Instagram too. We gotta put it for next meeting, let's figure.
21.1K.
How much?
20.1K.
All right, there you go, 20,000 followers, okay?
There you go.
So we gotta figure out what the Lock It or Lose It is, and we gotta put it on Instagram. Okay? So let's figure out how, for next meeting, how we do it. Okay, next item, we'll go quickly, it's getting late, coffee from medic. Lieutenant, how are we looking with Chris so we can get something going, because he's already going down south, I saw already.
What are you shooting for, like what?
Yeah, I
I
guess,
remember we
I don't know if you wanna do something in May, we can't. May
No,
is
May is too much, yeah.
So we gotta do either June or July to talk to him, to do something for the next event, just to get him on the horn, And maybe we'll just talk to him to see, maybe we'll get like a Vicky Bakery, something that's a little more popular to get people to come out to.
out of Latin America.
Yeah, or an American Grill to see, just to kind of get his availability. So the next meeting we come in and we say, okay, this is what we want to do. And we take headway for it. And I think that it's really important also because keep in mind, summer heat stroke, fire guys, I'm sure you're getting a lot of those calls. So we want to, kind of attack that.
Question, real quick.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, Pedro from the Public Safety Committee, Elderly Affairs Committee is very, very involved with Vicky Bakery, I believe. And I think if we would like, I can ask Pedro to ask on our behalf
No,
if you want to do that.
I have the owner's number. I got just text her from last
Fine,
night.
then you're gonna,
Yeah, all I need is Chris's availability. Chris
Okay.
says, hey, we're good, then we'll go ahead.
okay.
All right, let's keep, we don't have to discuss the budget, guys.
Okay.
Isabella said that's being pushed to May, we don't talk about it. I'm gonna defer. Okay, the next one is an easy one, Women's Self-Defense Force. There it is,
Did you guys get emails for this?
yes, May 27, 28, 29. If we can please push it out on our social media to get people involved. Isabella, if we can please print them out for the May 8th bingo event. If we can have, I can send an email to Isle with anything, just so that Isle can bring them because they were interested.
She'll be, email.
Okay, I'll email
Well, that's
Isle.
all.
I think he's gonna get a lot of people from that.
Okay, so email Isle for that, okay? The one complaint that I will tell you guys for the next time, so we can help out the sheriff's department and Citizens Crime Watch, it's still school. I think that would have been even better in the summer. Because all the parents are thinking about graduation. I don't know, when's your graduation? So they're all thinking about graduation, so, okay. The other one is, so we're moving quickly, the PSC website update. The Detective Nieves wants to do some sort of a handout for us, so that we can get more publicity on our website. So something else to think about for next meeting, if you all can take 5 minutes and go on our website and look at what our responsibilities are, so that we can update that. It's way overdue. All right, so we gotta figure out how to update that so we can give it to communications and update it. Okay, the next item, the knocking and ditching PSA, Nancy, I guess you wanted to add this to the agenda. Is this something that we wanna, you wanna talk about today, or do you wanna go ahead and defer with the lock it or lose it and kind of tie it all in next meeting?
I think by itself, it's serious enough that we need to bring it up soon. Whatever we're gonna do about it, it needs to be done right away, because it's going on right now. And I didn't know about it, and there's a lot of people that don't know about it and are gonna get hurt by it by not knowing about it. It's something we need to do right away, even if it's put it in the Miami Laker or whatever can be done the fastest and cover the most people, and then we can always follow up with something. I'm just shocked by this whole story you told, so,
I'll show you the video.
I'm just, I think it needs to be brought up right away, and don't make it take longer because we want to do a video.
You know, it doesn't
That's-
have to be like a major production, just something saying, don't, the consequences of doing this are boom, 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 boom. That's it, like bullet points or something.
Like I said, even if you put it in the Miami Laker, it makes more people aware, but we've got to do something.
Well, we have to, there's a the lock it or lose it with, you know, and all the points that Nieves was saying. That's one campaign. And this is a whole other campaign. Now, I will tell you, both of them are very urgent, because guess what? The not getting
And
ditches
you
that
have
happened to some, a
cards for
lot.
Lockett. Have you got any cards left?
That's
I
gonna be
have
for the
some.
Miami Youth Chamber luncheon, yes.
I will check at home how many there are. I think a lot of them.
Okay, so then let's go ahead, next meeting, we have some homework. To bring that up next meeting, a few things to think about, okay? All right, announcements, the quarterly chair meeting is May sixth, whoever wants to join me on the fun. With the other committee, chair, people,
You need times and places on them.
okay, that's usually, in the chamber. I don't know the timing, I'm sorry, but I can make sure that, I send it to the group. Next, next council, I'm sorry,
6 p.m.
It's
6 p.m.
I also send reminder emails, don't worry.
Okay, 6 p.m., May sixth, May 20th, next council meeting. Whoever wants to have fun with that, and 6:30, okay, next chair meeting, and then hopefully everybody's have it covered from Cinco de Mayo, from May 6th. And then the next PSC meeting is May 27th. Okay, so if no one else has anything to discuss, I will conclude the meeting.
I'll second it.
8:46 p.m.
Oh, you're gonna make a motion to.
Make a motion to
And I'll
adjourn the
second
meeting,
it.
seconded by Mr. Peña, all in favor?
What was the official time?
8:46, any against, none, 8:46, we are out.